It's a brand new year and we have to be prepared. My guest today is Gerald Celente. He is the man behind the Trends Journal, and he is really a trends forecaster, and he always prepares us when we're starting a year of what we can expect. Please welcome back Gerald Celente. Gerald, Happy New Year, or as you like to say right now, unhappy New Year.
Yeah, it is. It's very sad. I mean, look at the celebrations we weren't allowed to have on New Year's Eve, and don't celebrate Christmas. That's not allowed either.
Well, we have a lot of ground to cover because your latest edition of the Trends Journal is hot off the press. So I want to talk to you about the vaccination rollout. I want to talk to you about New York, de Blasio, one of your favorite topics. I want to talk to you about Yellen going into the White House. And I thought we'd also bring up Canada and vacationing politicians in St. Bart's. I know you're going to love that topic. But first, we're speaking here this Thursday, Gerald. The news really of the day and perhaps of the year here. Mob invades U.S. Capitol. Let's talk about this news and what you make of what's happening in this country.
It's a divided states of America. We've never seen it like this. It was like this to some extent when I was a young guy, when the Vietnam War was going on. The nation was pretty much split, but not like this. And it's a whole different game now. And you look at the equity markets. You go back right after that, happened. Poof, the Dow's up over 300 points on the good news that, well, Biden's in now. What difference is it going to make? I mean, all of a sudden, a genius came into the White House and everything's going to be great again. So it's one thing has nothing to do with the other. What it shows is that the nation is so divided and that the future is really so uncertain, and the markets, Wall Street has absolutely nothing to do with Main Street.
Well,
that's what it really says.
Right. And do you think it sets the tone, unfortunately, here for the year? I mean, we're speaking ahead of the inauguration. I have no idea what's going to happen from now and then, Gerald.
What's going to happen is you're going to start seeing new political parties being formed. And it's not only happening in the United States, it's happening around the world. They've had it with the establishment parties. And Trump was not one of the members of the club. I mean, the guy started his own place, Mar-a-Lago, over there, because they wouldn't let him be part of the club. So he started his own. So he's looked upon as not a member of the club. And now he's gone. He's finished, as far as we see as a political voice in any kind of a strong movement. So we're looking for a new political movement to start happening, anti-establishment movements. Again, not only in the United States, in the UK, in Italy, in Spain, in France, one after another, Germany. You're going to start seeing them popping up more and more as the people are disgusted with the establishment. That's what this is really about.
Gerald, how do you think Inauguration Day plays out, though? Does President Trump leave the White House? Does he stay in the White House? Will they have to remove him by
He'll
force?
go. He'll leave. It's finished for him. He played his last card with this, and it was he lost.
We have a lot of business to get through here, so let's start with the other big news item, which is the focus of the Trends Journal. The focus of this edition is really looking at trends for the year, and of course, one of the big ones will be the vaccination rollout, which you say there's a misconception that people think, we had the vaccination, now all our problems go away. Let's talk about that.
Again, just look at car sales in the United States last year. I mean, off the top of my head, I think they're down around 15% or something. And you hear every one of the heads of the big car companies saying, every one of them, when the vaccination rolls out, things will change. Why don't you grow up? What are they're locking down everywhere. All of a sudden, you're going to get a vaccination and business is going to boom again. You're not allowed to eat in restaurants in New York City. And by the way, the infection rate, according to the data from New York State, when you go to a restaurant is the grand total of 1.43%. So that's a perfectly legitimate reason to close down everybody. Look at all the businesses that have been wiped out. Oh, but now you're going to get vaccinated and everything is going to be great. No, it's not. This thing is going down big. The markets are going up also because they know that the Biden administration is going to inject more monetary methadone into the system to artificially prop it up. It's being artificially propped up in every nation. Oh, look over there in the UK. Oh, you saw the numbers come out. They went after this reporter because she said 388 people died under the age of 60. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 388 people dead under 60. And now they just locked the joint down again until what? March? Oh, it'll come back. Business will. What are you kidding? Germany locked down again. And again, you look, you're in Montreal. What is the number of, what is the number of the average? 70% of the people that died in Canada, 70% were from elder care homes. You know, once you get out of an elder care home, then you go to day camp. I mean, what are you kidding? You're there, you're dying, you're on your way out. Oh, big news in New York, big news in New York. Headline story in the toilet paper of record, the New York Times. 7 nuns die in convent, right? Wow. You read it. They were in a nursing home. The ages were between 84 and 98. What are you telling me this for? Because they're selling fear. Selling fear. The market, there's going to be a fake recovery. So look for a fake recovery. People think it's real. You're not going to create new jobs. You're going to be putting people back in jobs that they lost.
So let's talk about the economy. And just on the note about Montreal, yes, I have been here for the holidays, and we're just in full lockdown mode now. A curfew going into effect over the weekend that we can't leave the home from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And as you know, my other home where I live full time now is New York City. Your former home. This edition takes big aim at de Blasio and what's going on in New York, Gerald.
Oh, they destroy the place. Again, you have these little clowns. Oh, by the way, when I talk about, what's going on with the virus, this is the first book I worked on. 1986, Natural Healing, a Warner book, a big book. I have an honorary doctorate from the National University of Health Sciences. That little piece of garbage crap, de Blasio, the little joker up there. You want to see a tight cat, all you had to do was look at Times Square on New Year's Eve. Whatever, New York, New York. Everybody else, you can't go in Times Square, but I'm the mayor. Wilhelm, the de Blasio name, he brought that out to get the Italian votes. That's his last name. It was his mother's maiden name. It's okay for them to do it, right? You know what that jerk said yesterday? People over 75 shouldn't go out. They should be careful and stay home. Well, good thing I'm 74. I could go out now. I mean, they're making this crap up. They've destroyed New York City. No neon lights shining bright on Broadway. Midtown is dead town. Look, you're a New Yorker. Before this was happening, 2019, go up Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, Park Avenue, Village, for rent, for rent, for rent, for rent, for rent, for rent, for rent. Retail stores for rent all over New York before this happened.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right. Absolutely.
Now, what is the office occupancy rate in New York City at this point? Oh, around 15 to 20%. So all those businesses that depend on commuters gone. Oh, but the vaccination is going to bring everything back? What am I, 6 years old? Who are you talking to?
That's a very, very good point. And speaking about this recovery, and where people are flocking to, let's talk about the momentum in Bitcoin, because you talk about this. You talk about Bitcoin, you talk about gold, you talk about silver. Um, how much of this is correlated to what we're seeing happening in the Bitcoin trade here, Gerald?
It's all of it. It's the same reason everything is going up, because everybody with a brain bigger than a pea knows that you can't just keep dumping in all this cheap money into the markets, building up debt all over the world and not devaluing your currency. So the big one to look at, by the way, one of our top trends for 2021.
Yeah.
China, 2021. The 20th century was the American century. The 21st century, unfortunately, is the Chinese century. The business of America has been war. The business of China is business. Hey, did you see that budget that they passed over there in America? Oh, yeah, the defense budget, the biggest one yet. You're passing a huge defense budget as the economy's going down. Oh, who's Biden bringing in as the defense secretary? Oh, only a guy that was on the board of directors of Raytheon. So going back to, one of the biggest defense contractors. So going back to China, China's buying up the world. Hey, New Year's Eve, not allowed to have it in the Western nations, but boy, did you see that Wuhan, boy, where the virus allegedly broke out? Big New Year's Eve celebration, all of China's opened up. China's going to be the only major nation with a positive gross domestic product this year, and they're looking at an 8% GDP growth for 2021.
On the topic of China, we stopped talking about the trade war ever since the pandemic broke out. It's like all of a sudden that just poof, went away. Does it take center stage again in 2021?
It'll take center stage, but nothing will happen. Again, it was the Democrats that sold the nation. Well, they both did. It began with Reagan and then Clinton. You look at China's gross domestic product before they got into the World Trade Organization. 2001, by the way, it was brought in under the Clinton administration, the World Health Organization, rather, the World Trade Organization. He brought it in. It was signed in 2 weeks after 9/11, and their GDP goes up like that. The Europeans and the Americans sold out their countries by bringing manufacturing over there. They didn't know how to do this stuff. And now they have the high tech. They have everything now. They have a dual circulation policy. They know that the global economy is going to slow down. They're not counting on exports as much as they were before. Now they're talking about building it more in their nation. They got 1.4 billion people. Hey, we do a lot of business with each other, manufacture more of what we're doing with each other, keep buying more of what we're doing here. We don't need as much as that. So they're doing on both ends, where the Western nations have lost that.
And the other, piece to that puzzle, Gerald, is China is in the works of rolling out their digital currency. Euro
right.
will follow suit. Do you think that's all part of their master plan to destroy the US dollar?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, you're going to be looking what in the next, right now, of course, the yuan only accounts for about 3%. It doesn't count for much at all. But the United States is going down. And so too will the dollar. I see the United States now as England after World War I. And the pound went away and the dollar took its place. And now that's going to start happening, unfortunately, with the and again, this breaks my heart because I'm an American. My blood is Italian, my heart's American, and to see what's happening in this country, we used to make fun of the Chinese for wearing these things, right? And now everybody wears one. You even got these stupid reporters, these prostitutes doing the news with nobody around them with a mask on. The reason they wear these masks in China is because 1.5 million people last year died of air pollution. So now we become the Chinese way in so many different ways. Even when you're talking about Montreal, they're all over. We're locking you down. I'm in charge. I will tell you what to do. Take that Bill of Rights and Constitution and shove it. It doesn't count anymore. I'm in charge. I am your leader. I'm some little piece of crap mayor to a governor, to a prime minister, to a chancellor, to anybody else.
Yeah, but
The
as I
Chinese
mentioned,
way.
but the Canadian politicians, well, and you speak about this in the Trend Journal. The Ontario finance minister busted in St. Bart's after he posted videos of himself, pre-recorded drinking eggnog by the fire after he, told Ontarians and Canadians, please don't go on vacation, and then was caught in St. Bart's.
It's one after another. How about that little clown over there in California, Gruesome Newsom, up at the French laundry over there, up, what, $400 a plate dinner with a bunch of people sitting around? That's okay. Hey, we're special. How about the guy down in Austin, Texas over there, the mayor, huh? Telling everybody to stay home while he's going out to Mexico. It's one after another. Oh, by the way, the reason I'm like this, but I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. I was with Ronald Reagan when I was the number 2 guy running a trade association at 30 years old, picking him up at the Chicago Hilton, taking him over to McCormick Place as he's a keynote speaker to our group 2 days before he's announcing he's running against Gerald Ford. I've been with presidents, prime ministers, and princes. I know the deal. These are the people I hated in high school that wanted to be class president and head of the student council. These are mindless people that are on ego trips. It's what Eisenhower said. Anyone that seeks the office is either an egomaniac or crazy. How come the politicians' wages aren't going down now as they're putting everybody else out of business? These people never work a day in their life. What was Biden now? 47 years he playing the game? One after another. They don't care about us. They don't have to worry about paying their bills, their health care, their pensions. They steal the money in the name of taxes. By the way, everybody, wait for your taxes to go up. Oh, yeah, the gas tax will raise that. Oh, the sales tax will raise that. We'll raise your property taxes. We'll raise your school taxes as we close everything down.
Gerald, I just had this image of you in high school, and I know I would have loved to be your friend back then because you're probably the coolest cat in school. But you brought up Biden and who he's bringing in, and I know this is another thing that really gets under your skin is the pick of Janet Yellen as Treasury Secretary. You see it as an invasion of the Fed here now on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in front of everybody's eyes. The banksters have taken over the country. We've known that for a while. But now it's in front of everybody's eyes. But isn't it wonderful that they picked a woman? That's the kind of baloney that they're. Oh yeah, who's the head of was the head of the International Monetary Fund before? Christine Lagarde, right? Oh, a woman. Yeah. Oh, now she's the head of the ECB. It doesn't make any difference. Black, white, male, female. It doesn't make any difference. Good and bad comes in all of them. Here we got Janet Yellen, when she was Fed chair, and she would come out after they had a meeting and talk. Now she made $7 million BSing, huh? Yeah, Goldman Sachs gang, the JP Morgan, how many times 5-case felony gang that they admitted to? Oh yeah, one after another, paying her $7 million in 1 year to hear a BS? How about payoffs? Same reason they did it with the Clintons. What are you kidding me? This is a fraud in front of everybody's eyes. And now she's the head of the Treasury. Listen, everybody, get back to work. All you are is a plantation worker on the plantation of Slavelandia. We're in charge. The Federal Reserve, a private bank, is now ahead of the Treasury. Isn't it wonderful that Biden came in? All the little liberals shoot their fat mouths off with no brains.
I know you're not painting a wonderful picture of what lies ahead. You're just, trying to give us a glimpse of reality. But I know you, Gerald. I know you. I'd like to think on a personal level as well after all these years. And I know you're an optimist deep down. Deep down, you could still find optimism. You still find, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow somehow. You still keep smiling. So, if you had to give us a message here as we're starting the year, yes, we've started it, on a horrific note. But what can you just give us some hope is what I'm asking here, Gerald.
How about hope and change you can believe in? Hope is the most negative word in the metaphysical dictionary. It means wanting to have something happen without doing anything to make it happen. What I'm doing, I'm a fighter. It's in my blood. And I'm an American. Land of the free, to be who you are. I wasn't put on this earth for anybody to tell me who to be, how to be it, and what to do. I don't tell anybody what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Let's make it nice. I'm fighting for freedom, peace, and justice. And for everybody to do what they can do. And the first, again, the book I work on was natural healing. And of course, my other books are in trends. And get in the best shape you can. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's building yourself to, when you go down, you got to double up on the fight back. And that's what everybody has to do. They have to double up. They have to fight back harder. And I don't mean violently fight. I'm talking about, in the truest sense of the word, in the meaning. And that's the only way to win, to me. And we've all had our ups and downs in life. And you don't go down harder. Again, I lost a dear friend, one of the kindest, sweetest men I've ever known in my life, that took his life recently. And part of it had to do with his fear of going out and being locked up, and which is happening all over the world now.
Suicide
rates are going up.
I'm so sorry for that loss.
Yeah. Great loss. A great, kind man. So what I'm telling people to do is stand up and be yourself. They've taken the fight out of us. Can you imagine some little clown, like, as I say, hey, little Andy Cuomo, a daddy's boy born on third base and thought you hit a home run. You'd be nobody like your little brother Chris over there if daddy wasn't Mario. And we're going to rename the Tappan Zee Bridge after my daddy. And you're going to take your money to change the name. Come over here and try to vaccinate me. Come over here and try to put a mask on me. That's what everybody has to say. Get it in your head, everyone. Public servant. We pay them to tell them what to do. They got it backwards. So what I'm saying to people, rise up to be yourself, to be who you want to be. Not to let other people tell you what to be and how to do it. The motto of the Trends Journal, taught to me by my father, of course, may his soul rest in peace. Think for yourself. Papagallo, he'd say to me when I shoot my mouth off. Stop repeating what everybody else is saying and think for yourself.
I always remember when you told me that story. I will always remember it. Think for yourself. And I hope one day you'll share with us. I know how much you take care of yourself physically. You have a special drink you make every day with fruits and legumes, and I know you greatly believe in the power of what we eat to heal ourselves. So we should do a whole segment on that one day. And I also know that you protect yourself, financially with gold and silver. And I guess just a final note, because a lot of our viewers are investors in these
gold and silver. It's going to gold, silver. There's going to be a big correction in Bitcoin at some point. Everything has a correction in it, but the world is going digital. That's how they're going to try to get out of this whole thing. We're doing away with those dirty dollars anymore. No more dirty currencies. It's killing you. We're going digital. We could track everything. We've been writing about this for years, from going from dirty cash to digital trash. They're going to come out with a new currency. That's the way they're going to get away with their debt levels. They're going to make up something new. And so, to me, gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies are the future. And they're the ultimate safe haven assets, of course, are gold and silver to me. And we see silver rising at a higher percentage this year than gold because there are no stockpiles of silver. They're going more and more into alternative with energy, and you
Right.
need silver for all of that.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. Just a final note. I can keep going on forever with you, Gerald, but because of the Green New Deal coming in, is that really the push that you see for silver? That right now there's no way we have enough to meet that demand of the what they're trying to do before 2050 here?
That's
Because
a
people are saying
very
it's
big
going to be
part.
the decade of silver.
A very big part of it, and it's in everything. You know, your cell phones and your keyboards, and you throw it away after you finish with it, so
Right.
it goes into the dump. There are no stockpiles like there are of gold.
Right.
So right now, the ratio of gold to silver is way out of whack. And again, we've called it to the numbers in the Trends Journal. We said Bitcoin would break out. Again, you just go back to May of this year, that would Bitcoin broke over 10, we had it break over solidly over $10,000 and it would take off. We said silver, when it was $17 an ounce, it was ready to break out. I think it was in May or June. In 2019, in June, when gold was $1,332 an ounce, we sent out a trend alert, the new gold bull run. So we picked these, and now we see gold next year breaking well above 2,100, and silver, going to the $80, $50, $80 mark. Quite.
A lot of investors are going to be happy with those forecasts. I urge everyone to read the latest edition. It's always one of my favorites, the January one, because it really prepares you for the year with the Trends Master, Gerald Celente. Gerald, buon anno.
Grazie. Ciao, ciao.
Okay, we'll see you real soon. Keep smiling, keep fighting. And thank you. And thank you to all our viewers. I wish you all a great start to the new year here, and keep following us on Stansberry Research. We'll have much more for you. Thanks for watching. I'm Daniela Cambone.